Do complex legal issues hold you back? Let's get energized and bring clarity to your top legal questions. This is Law Talk with the Flock by Goosmann Law Firm.
Hello, I'm your host, Jeana Goosmann, CEO, lawyer, author, and women business owner, here to help walk you through the law and your life as a business leader. Today, we're going to be beginning our Be Worth It series, where we will dive into some of the topics on my book, the Amazon bestseller, Worth It, Business Leaders Ready, Execute, Deliver. And today, we're going to talk about the R.E.D leadership mentality. So what is having a R.E.D mentality? What does that mean? What are we talking about? And R.E.D in the book, it stands for Ready, Execute, Deliver. So obviously the first thing you need to do is be ready. How do you get yourself ready? It's all about having the right mentality. And I talk a lot about being all in and going all in. It's really important that you have your head in the game from the get-go and that you're fully committed to what your dream is and what your vision is and what you're trying to achieve. I think that I've talked to people in the past about how I can physically see when I'm all in on something. I wear an Apple Watch like many people do, and if you have one, you'll know what I mean when I refer to the rings. And I have an app that will look at my heart rate on a particular day. And I can tell you that if I'm in court or I have a big mediation or I have a huge meeting within the firm for something, I can physically see that my heart rate will be elevated for that day. And it's not just mentally being all in, but I know that I'm all in on the game that day. And it really even plays out when you're not just physically running down the street, but if you're emotionally vested and physically vested and very committed to what it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, I love to talk about goals, and everybody talks about having SMART goals. Goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely, all that good stuff. But I think it's really important that you're able to visualize what it means to win in whatever it is that you are setting out to accomplish. What is that end game, and how does it look for you before you get going? What are you trying to really do? And I can give some great examples of what that looks like. And as you're trying to execute, making sure that you have the right mentality for the leader going into whatever the endeavor is, I think as you are trying to figure out how to execute, before you get into the details of how, you got to be able to see the end result. Now, several years ago, I was given this tip as it relates to my business to write the firm's Wikipedia page and what it would look like 10 years from now. And I will tell you, that was one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do, because you had to really think about the details as you were describing your business 10 years in the future. But going through that mental exercise was really important because it helped provide some clarity for what's this going to look like along the way and working backwards in order to set that path for success. So part of that too, as you're executing and you're having the right mentality, is another thing I like to talk about and focus on in my book is planting seeds. And what does it mean to plant seeds in your business or when you're trying to accomplish your goal? What I mean by that is really have the foresight of what some of the opportunities you're going to need to develop are in order to accomplish your goal. I'll give you a couple examples. Before I set to open an office in another market, I would make a list of who the ideal leaders would be for that particular office. And then I would start to have coffee with them and just check in with them and touch base and make sure I kept those relationships warm, and also tell them about the firm and kind of what the vision is for the firm. And they didn't know they were on any kind of a list or that I was necessarily planning to open an office in that demographic or geographic area in the future. But I think planting those seeds early on gave more options for when I was actually ready to make it happen. So planting seeds is really capturing opportunities with the foresight that you have that will help you as you lay the groundwork for what you're trying to accomplish down the road. Now, let's talk a little bit about delivering and how you can use the R.E.D mentality in your everyday life and some of those business things. I think knowing your outcome is huge, and making sure that you have it so you can write it down and be able to deliver. Because if you know what your outcome is and what success looks like to you, then you'll know if you actually achieved it. And it doesn't mean that it won't change along the way, but I think being really clear with yourself and the other stakeholders on what does it mean to deliver helps you actually benchmark yourself in those mentalities. So having a R.E.D mentality is definitely to be all in. And I have several examples of how I've kind of learned that if you're not all in, it makes a difference, and you don't necessarily commit your whole self to making that goal, and you're not really willing to go above and beyond and have that self-sacrifice. So making sure you check yourself for the R.E.D mentality before you get going is really important. Actually asking yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it for the time, the money, and the self-sacrifice that it's going to take to accomplish this goal? And I think that that's the piece that a lot of people miss, and they just are kind of going through the motions, trying to be successful, whatever that means, but not actually asking yourself before you jump in, is this worth it? And if you'd like to learn more about the R.E.D mentality or different opportunities to learn about leadership and how you can be ready, execute, and deliver, I encourage you to go to Amazon and look for my book. It's called Worth It, Ready, Execute, Deliver. And it's on Amazon, and it hit Amazon bestseller status when we launched it. So it was really exciting for that. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. Go make it worth it, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for Law Talk with the Flock by Goosmann Law Firm. We hope you feel energized and ready to soar past your goals. Become a Flock fan and subscribe to our podcast for weekly episodes. Learn more at goosmannlaw.com.